Hello, everybody. It's Vern coming to you pre recorded from the Pink Room. First off, Happy New Year. I hope you had a good one. I hope the first couple days of your new year has been a good one. I hope 2023 was good for you as well. But Happy New Year. It's 2024. Uh, doing another vlog. This is all kind of some loose thoughts that I've had for quite some time now, and I just hope you'll stick with me as I try to share them with you all. So I guess first things first. Um, Before we can talk about 2024, we need to talk about 2012. Some of you already may know this about me. Some of you, this might be new information. But 2012 was tremendously difficult for me. For a long time, I would say it was the just the most difficult year of my life. Um, it's been given a run for its money with the year 2022, a decade later, but it's still a hard year. And part of what made 2022 so difficult for me, or excuse me, part of what made 2012 so difficult for me was that year was the first time I really kind of experienced loss. I had prior to that, I had distant relatives pass away, and I was born and raised in the church, and I was an altar boy for a lot of funerals, but they're for people I didn't know. 2012, I lost someone who I was once really close with, and who meant a lot to me, and I lost them in a we lost that person in a tragedy, and it was tremendously difficult for me, and it was tremendously difficult for me for a very, very, very long time, and there was I kept trying to move forward. I kept trying to just act like it didn't bother me. Kept trying to walk it off, as it were. And with that came me moving to a new state or multiple new states, and that with that came me going to film school, and so much of what I did in the years following 2012 was me just trying to walk it off, and trying to just keep moving, as if this tremendous loss didn't bother me. And for a long time, I'd convinced myself that what I was doing was working and I was fine, and that it was just normal to just think about a single person every single day of your life, and be bone crushingly sad over it, and just kept on moving. And it happened in, I guess, 2015, 2016, whenever it was, where and this is a story I have shared with folks before, and then I have talked about, where I got the idea for pet turtles. I was driving home from the place that I worked, and I had a long drive, and some of you've heard this story before, but I was driving home, and all of a sudden I heard in my head, "You're going to have an idea." Not, "Here's an idea." I didn't just have an idea. I had heard, "You're going to have an idea." I turned my radio down, and I was listening to U2, which is kind of embarrassing. But I turned the radio down, and then I got the idea for pet turtles. And I've told this before. I just drove home, my 40-minute drive, hour-long drive, however long it was, just repeating everything that was popping in my head, all these visions of pet turtles. And I've told this before, but I got home, and I'm like, oh, the space and time between me locking my car and walking to the apartment, I might lose it. And so I just sit there and typed it out on my cell phone. So I sat in my car for like another 40 minutes or an hour or so after I got home, after a 40-minute hour drive, and just typed out like what ostensibly was the first draft of Pet Turtles into the Notes app on my cell phone. And then, you know where the rest of the story goes. I start pursuing Pet Turtles like a madman. And we do one failed fundraiser on Kickstarter. We do a successful fundraiser on Indiegogo, which is some of you might be seeing this vlog from an email from Indiegogo. We shot a trailer for Pet Turtles, and it's just a wonderful time. Truly, like one of the best days of my life. And you know, we did a fundraiser. We did a live fundraiser show at the Monocle, which is no longer with us. R.I.P. I miss the Monocle in St. Louis. All trying to raise money for Pet Turtles, and it was super important to me because I've always wanted to make a movie. I've wanted to make a movie for most of my life, all my life. Wanted to make a movie since before 2012, but it was really important to me that Pet Turtles got made because on top of me always wanting to make a movie, and on top of it, like, just being something super important to me and something that I had been like working towards my whole life, I truly, honestly thought, with every fiber of my being, I truly thought that making Pet Turtles was going to be the thing that like cured me. I truly thought that making a movie, making Pet Turtles would be the thing that like made the sadness I feel over losing my friend go away. And how wrong was I? Boy, how wrong was I? But I was just very dogged in that, and the way I kind of looked at it and the way I kind of talked about it is, some people take their sadness and all these things that they're feeling and they just bury it. And for the longest time, that's what I had done. I just buried it and pretended like it didn't there and moved on. And I thought Pet Turtles was like, not only am I burying my sadness, but I'm turning it into a garden. I'm turning it into something better. And I thought that was going to be the thing that cured me. Truly thought this, stupidly, perhaps stupidly, thought that this was going to be the thing that would cure me. And when we wrapped on Pet Turtles, my wife, she accepted a new position in Washington State. And so very shortly after we wrapped, I want to say a week after we wrapped, like, I was packing up stuff to move across the country, to move to Washington State. And very shortly after I arrived in Washington State I don't like saying the word anniversary, because anniversary I feel is used for like happy occasions. You know, you have your anniversary of your wedding, or your anniversary of when you first started dating, or whatever it might be. But I don't know of a better word. Very shortly after I arrived in Washington, we had the anniversary of the event in 2012 that brought me such great sadness. The loss, the tragic loss that brought me such great sadness. And that anniversary, for lack of a better word, like, was really rough. I got so sad that first year in Washington, and it kind of stayed with me the entire time I was in Washington. And I started going to counseling again after that, and it was just, I was so confused. I was so lost. I was so confused. I didn't understand it. We had wrapped shooting Pet Turtles, and like, making a movie is one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult thing a person can do. And I was just like so lost and so frustrated and so just everything, just like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I still feeling this sadness? Why am I still feeling all this way on this anniversary of this tragic loss? Like, I've done the work, and it was very very much later on that I learned that I had done some work, but it was all tunneling in the wrong direction. All that backbreaking work had kind of went in the wrong direction, and it was rough for me. This is not saying I regretted making pet turtles, but it was just, I thought that was going to be the thing that fixed the sadness and made me heal, and I was incorrect. And eating crow in that way was really difficult, and having these emotions again, but with the added layer of complexity of just like, well, all this work that you did not help it out, did not help you. Like, that was this really, really tough time for me. And I'm open about how much therapy I've been in and how much counseling I've been through, and so this is not something that like I'm embarrassed to share, but it's something that I'm open with. But that first year in Washington started this very long journey that I've been on of counseling and talking to psychiatrists and therapists and things like that. And I've learned a lot, and I'm not saying that I know everything there is. I think to be a human and to think you know everything there is to know, and to feel like you've learned all you need to know, and to refuse new information, and to just kind of cross your arms, I think that's a moral failing. So I'm not going to claim to know everything, but I've learned a lot, and I know more than I did back then, and I'm open and I want to learn more. But that first counseling appointment I went to in Washington after the anniversary of this tragic event where we lost someone who I was once really close with, started this big long journey of just learning about grief, learning about my brain, learning about just like kind of the way the world works sometimes. And let me tell you, it's been a really rough journey. It's been a really rough trip. And I had counseling sessions in Washington, and then later on here in Utah, where just like, it always shakes out where I go to counseling appointments on Wednesday mornings. I don't know why. It was that way in Washington. It's that way now. But I would have like these, I'd come home after these appointments and just go like straight to bed, just because I was exhausted from an hour of talking about feelings and things like that. And been a long journey of learning about grief and learning what grief was. Again, this was like my first like real experience with loss. It was really difficult for me, this event in 2012, and I've had more since then that I've wrestled with, but that was my first one, and it was such a tragedy. It was really hard for me. It's really hard to be wrestling with some heavy emotions, and to be grieving, and to not even know what you're wrestling with is grief. Really hard to like be dealing with PTSD and not even know it. Really hard to have things that have, and this did happen, where like you're having a couple of good days in a row and you're feeling all right, and then all of a sudden you see the loss that affected you in such a profound way, being talked about on like CNN. It was all just really hard for me, and And as I said earlier, I didn't know about grief. I didn't know about loss. I didn't know about these things. It was, my eyes got so big whenever I was diagnosed with PTSD, because I thought that was something that, like combat veterans have. you know, I didn't know that like dumb kids from Illinois uh, could get it. But, it was all part of the journey, all part of learning, all part of growing. And I learned what grief was, and I learned what PTSD was, and I learned what loss was. And I learned that, like, you can suffer from grief and you can suffer from loss without someone, dying. And that was hard for me. And I spent a lot of time unpacking those things, unpacking those, things I learned because of that. And then, with learning about grief and learning about loss, I learned about hurt. And I learned about, like, how it feels to hurt, and how we react to hurt in different ways, and how your physical body can hurt because of something that happened to you emotionally. And that was something I didn't know. And with all that learning about hurt came, like, learning about ways that I have hurt. And learning about ways that I've hurt people was tremendously difficult for me. Because, again, I'm not a person I'm not a smart person. I don't claim to know everything. But I have, believe it or not, always tried to do my best, and always tried to be a decent person. But, in learning about hurt, I learned that I had, again, done a lot of work in the wrong direction, a lot of tunneling in the wrong direction. And that was, and that's been, hard for me. It's just been a long journey. It's been a super, super long journey. Learning about my brain, my heart, my emotions, my body, all these things. And my life has went in such a crazy, weird, different direction than I ever anticipated it going in. And I'm a little I might be a little worse for wear from it. You can't really see it, but, like, on the underside of my beard, and I don't know if you can really see it because I'm not good at lighting things, but on the underside of my beard I got a lot of gray. I'm a little creaky. I'm a little, like, I cry so easy over everything anymore. I'm a little worse from wear from the journey I've been on, but I'm thankful for the journey I've been on. And I'm happy that I encountered so many forks in the road so that I could learn and that I could adjust. And I'm very happy to say, sorry, I'm readjusting here. I'm very happy to say that I've got a different set of values now than I used to have. But it's also difficult having a new set of values, because when you develop a new set of values, when you learn and when you grow, you get to go through your life and see all those things that you did under a previous administration, as it were, and see all the things that you did under your previous set of values, and get to feel a lot of shame and a lot of regret and a lot of remorse because of it. And that's been something that I struggle with. And I don't know if you know this or not. Some of you who watch this may know, because you may have received one. But every year for my birthday, I send out letters. I try to send out a letter for every year that I am. So like in 2023, I turned 34. So I sent out or wrote 34. I'm still sending them out. Wrote 34 letters to 34 different people. 34 people each got one letter from me. And a lot of those letters are, like, hey, thank you so much for being a part of my life. I love you so much. But a lot of those letters and these and these types of letters grow more and more frequent with every passing year. A lot of those letters are, hey, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry for saying this. I'm so sorry for doing this. I really regret this. A lot of those letters are just me trying to make things right. And there's still a lot of work to be done. I think of it as driving with a check engine light on. Just you're going through your life and you see the check engine light come on. You're like, I know I need to get that looked at, but it's going to be expensive. And so a lot of the things I'm regretful for and have remorse over and have shame over are still things that are like I see them on the dashboard as a check engine light. And I as sometimes it's, I just want to get their words right, and I just want to find myself in the right spot. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is I'm rambling, and this is what happens in a vlog from me is since 2012, since this like tragedy that occurred, I've learned so much about myself. I've learned so much about the world around me. I've learned so much about how I've behaved in the past, and it's made me just take stock of everything, where I'm at and where I've been and where I'd like to be, and it's all stuff that like, man, I've so much regret and so much shame over different things that I've done and different things that have happened. But also, like, in a weird way, I'm kind of thankful for them because they help keep me in check now, and they help me try to be a better person in the present and in the future. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I think 2023 was really difficult for me, and I made a lot of mistakes, and that's stuff I'm trying to repair and trying to fix and trying to make right. But I've learned just a lot about myself and a lot about emotions and how people can hurt and how people can get hurt, and how people can be actively hurtful, both knowingly and unknowingly, and I've done both. And I've learned a lot about those things, but this year this most recent year was kind of interesting for me, or different for me, in that I learned a lot about forgiveness, and it's something that I've been trying to practice and try to be better at. And some of my birthday letters that I've sent out and written have also been about that. Have been reaching out to people like, hey, you did this and that bummed me out, but I forgive you. Sometimes you have to say that, like, I forgive you through gritted teeth, but it's still like, I'm trying. I don't know. I try to live my life by the campfire rule anymore, and I try to leave this place better than I found it, and leave nothing but footprints or whatever. But and with that, I find myself frequently going back to old campsites, as it were, and trying to clean up messes that I've made there. But I've learned a lot about forgiveness. And I've learned, some hard lessons regarding like forgiving myself. And I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've done a lot of things that are not that do not align with my values that I have now, and I really regret them. And have a lot of remorse for them, but they're all things that I'm actively working on forgiving myself for doing, or for engaging in, or however you want to phrase it, for being a part of. And it's hard, but I'm trying. I just, not being too TMI, though I've already been very TMI. I've learned that I'm some degree of neurodivergent this past year. And with neurodivergence, and correct me if I'm saying things wrong. I'm swimming in waters that are a little too deep for me. But with like neurodivergence, I've learned that there's a degree of just like separation and not knowing, how other people feel. Like, this might be stupid, but I'm a stupid person. It was big for me. The day I learned that, like, all these emotions that I feel, all these things that I think about, all these things that I wrestle with, other people can wrestle with, and other people can have like those things to, to even more complex, than me. And I regret that I had to learn that, and I had to learn that in my 30s. But also I'm thankful that I did learn it, that I eventually did figure it out before it was too late. And in a lot of ways, it is too late. But what I'm trying to say and I'm sorry for the preamble. My counselor makes jokes with me that I'm preambling everything. It's just my nature. I try to set the stage for everyone so everyone can understand where I'm coming from. I've always wanted pet turtles to happen, and that remains true. But for the longest time, I wanted it to happen for selfish reasons, and I thought I wanted it to happen because, like, I thought it was going to cure me, and it didn't. What ended up, not that I'm like 100% healed and I'm 100% happy and healthy, but what cured me, or what has been working wonders in like curing me, has been doing the work, has been talking about feelings, talking about uncomfortable situations, talking about uncomfortable thoughts and things like that with other folks, and trying to find a level of understanding and common ground between folks. And this most recent year was hard because I feel like this most recent year, the year 2023, was like, in my personal life, was just so rife with misunderstanding and being misunderstood. I feel like the second half of 2023, I botched every single social interaction I was a part of. And it made it so, like, that last quarter of the year, those last like 4 months, I was like, I don't even want to try. I don't want to try to talk to these people. I don't even try to have this social interaction because I'm going to biff it. But it's what I've learned from that is, you got to talk about these things, even if they are uncomfortable, so that the misunderstanding can turn into understanding, so that the being misunderstood can turn into being understood. And sometimes it doesn't work out, but you've got to try, and that's been a hard lesson for me to learn. And I'm not saying I've got it nailed down. I know I'm going to make more and more mistakes, because that's just part of the human experience. But just for the longest time, I wanted pet turtles to happen because I thought, like, it's going to cure me. And it didn't, it didn't cure me. And I had to go do the work, and I had to start talking with people, and I had to start talking about myself, and I had to like expose and give light to like really ugly sides of myself, and I had to be in really uncomfortable positions, and I had to have days and days and days where I didn't do anything but sleep in bed, and I had to like get really used to crying in public and crying in private. I had to get used to all those things, and intermixed with all those things was like, you know, we had a pandemic. We had a pandemic during that time. During that time I've really struggled with like jobs and job security. Did you know that on Indeed.com they stop showing you how many resumes you sent out after you've sent out 99 of them? And did you know that I found that out? And did you know that I found that out the only way I could find that out, which is by sending out more than 99 resumes to jobs? So like, there's been a lot of speed bumps and a lot of roadblocks and a lot of just like hiccups along the way on this journey towards, you know, better mental health and trying to understand and trying to heal from this loss and heal from this grieving. There's just been a lot of real life stuff. I'm not saying I'm special, and I'm not saying that this is not me trying to get sympathy. You know, job stuff and relationship issues and things like that's part of the human experience. That's something we all undergo, and it sucks, but we do. But I've had a lot of hardship on the journey, but it's all stuff that's, you know, been difficult, but it's stuff that I don't know what the right word is. I don't want to say I'm proud that it happened. I don't want to say I'm happy that it happened. I guess I want to say I'm relieved it happened. I don't know. I don't know what the right word is, but like it's helped me get better, you know. It's helped me find an appreciation for life and a reverence for life that I didn't used to have. An appreciation for life and a reverence for life that was non-existent for a lot of years after 2012. But I've learned so much about myself and gotten myself in a better place emotionally. And along the way, like, I've some other cool things have happened. I got married, and I wasn't a married person whenever we started with Pet Turtles, but I got married, and we've moved around a whole bunch. But my beautiful wife that I'm married to bought us this gorgeous house, this beautiful house, and I have this weird space that I call the pink room, my creative suite that I've painted pink and I get to work in. This year I worked on a bunch of movie sets, doing art department stuff and wardrobe stuff, and doing that like finally allowed me to upgrade my computer and to get it modern and current with modern technology. The computer that I had been working on for so long in this Pet Turtles journey is a computer that I got before Pet Turtles was even thought of. I've been able to upgrade the technology and all this stuff, and I've also me personally, I think that I've gotten better as an artist since this Pet Turtles journey started. I draw. I've become an illustrator. I've become something of a graphic designer. One of the movie sets I worked on, they needed a newspaper, and I made a newspaper for them. My editing has gotten so much better. I'm not terrified of being behind a camera like I used to be. So all this to say that I thought Pet Turtles was going to be the thing that fixed everything. I thought that was going to be the thing that cured me, that made my life better, that fixed everything and made everything right. And it wasn't. It was an instigator. It started some stuff, but it wasn't the end all, cure all, be all that I thought it was going to be. And what was the end all, cure all, be all was working hard at my own mental health, working hard at figuring out what was making me tick, what was making my heart beat the way it did. Figuring that stuff out and doing the work towards becoming a better artist. And again, I don't think I'm not, this is not me saying I'm 100% cured and I'm better and everything's great. But oh, sorry, my let me explain what's happening. Okay, that's good. That's good. So I think that's good. No. What's going on? So let me explain what's happening right now. I got my wife a Tamagotchi for Christmas. She loves the... Oh, thank goodness. My wife loves the show Jujutsu Kaisen. It's an anime. I don't really know a lot about it, but I got my wife this Tamagotchi, and she's at work right now. And she told me, take care of my Tamagotchi while I'm at work. And so I've been keeping this thing on me, and it just beeped. And I think what that was, I don't 100% know, but I think what that was a cursed spirit was trying to fight her Tamagotchi, and I had to fight it off. And I think... Okay, this, I don't know if you can see it. This means I did good. This means her Tamagotchi's happy. Sorry about that. I could edit that out, but I'm not going to. Where was I? I'm not saying I'm better. I'm not saying I'm 100% cured or anything like that. I'm still working. I'm going to keep going to counseling. I got an appointment tomorrow morning. My counselor is the best. I'm a big fan of that person. I'm still trying to figure things out and learn, but it's been a long road, and I'm finally at a place now where there's no... A lot of what I'm working on now is stuff now. A lot of what I'm working on in the present is issues. Oh, they're hungry. They're hungry. Sorry. Okay, they're good now. Where I'm at now is the things that I'm working on now are things that I'm working on now. The things that I'm working on in the present are things that are happening in the present. I'm finally in a place where, like, I'm not working on things that happened in the past in addition to things that are happening in the present. And I'm not saying I don't have problems in the present, but what I'm saying is problems in the present are more manageable when you're only dealing with those and you're not dealing with backup, you know? So, all this to say, I've just been on a really big, long, difficult journey, but it's one where I truly think, as far as pet turtles goes, I think the pet turtles aspect of this journey is finally, for real, honestly coming to an end. In 2023, I saw some like major windfalls for pet turtles. As I said, I was finally able to upgrade my computer, and with that, I was able to like get everything related to pet turtles in one window and one copy of Premiere, which was tremendous. We had a couple of screenings. Forrest came here. As I've said before in previous vlogs, Forrest came here, and Forrest and I and my wife, we watched like a 95% cut of Pet Turtles. And then later on, Andrew of the Melons, Andrew's wife, Kevin, who's in Pet Turtles, and Justin, who's very briefly in Pet Turtles, and myself. We watched a cut of Pet Turtles, about like a 96%. This is my dog. We watched like a 96% cut of Pet Turtles, and now we're finally at that 97. I don't. You probably remember me doing like a 97% vlog. We're finally there now, and things are better technologically, things are better financially, things are better emotionally, and I'm just keeping on working on it. We're so close. There's very little expenditures in the future as far as like finishing the movie goes. There's still like, like stuff like sending it to festivals and like copywriting and things like that stuff. But as far as like money that I have to spend to finish the movie, I think we're in the home stretch, which rules. And I've been making a lot of holiday gifts for folks, and I'm still not done yet because I bit off more than I can chew, which is typical Vern stuff. But once I finish making those things and mail those off, like, we got nothing on that. We've got nothing on the agenda. We got nothing on the slate, or very few things on the slate, other than like finishing the movie, and that's what we're gonna be doing. That's what we're working on, and I'm really excited about it. And I'm hoping that the next few updates, the next few just months, I can have things for you like teaser trailers, posters, things like that. There's rough cuts of things on my computer I'm really excited about. I can't show them to you yet because I don't want to put those out into the world until I know the movie's done yet. But I got some things I want to show you, and I'm going to keep working on them, and I'm really excited to share them with you. And without spoiling anything, without spoiling this movie that you've not seen yet, there's a character in the movie near the end of the movie who makes a big speech. It's kind of like for any of you guys who watch South Park, it's kind of like when Kyle says, "I've learned something today," and it plays that music, and he gives this little speech about what the lessons they've learned, the lesson they've learned that episode, and something like that happens in Pet Turtles. And Pet Turtles is pulled from, real life experiences, real life grief, real life emotions. And everything that happens in that movie had happened to me, or some variation of that had happened to me up until a point. And that was the point in which the character does that "I've learned something today" speech. That was, from that point on, is when we kind of veer into artistic license. In real life, in this event that Pet Turtles is kind of built around, that didn't happen. In real life, I didn't have a big speech or a big whatever where like, this is what I've learned today. And there's something after that. I don't want to spoil at all, but like, the thing that happens after this speech in Pet Turtles, like, that never happened whenever I was working on the movie. But it did end up happening afterwards. And it was this big gap of year, or this big gap of years, multiple years, where the movie's not been done yet. And that big speech where the character says, like, "I've learned something today," that did happen, but that was me, like, that was making the movie. And so what I'm trying to say here is that I think what needed to happen for this movie to get done was for me to finish living the movie. As you may or may not know, I'm a big dork who likes professional wrestling. And right now, Cody Rhodes is in WWE, and his like gimmick, they say like finish the story. Right now, Cody is finishing his story, and I wrote Pet Turtles. We shot it. It's mostly edited. It's mostly done. But I had to finish the story, and that's I had to complete the arc in real life that, you know, Lyle does in the movie. And it took a very, very, very long time. It's taken a very, very, very long time. But I think it's finally happened. And I'm feeling really good about it. And I got one last thing. I'm sorry, my legs are getting uncomfortable from how I've been sitting. And I've got a little bit of a sleepy foot right now. The last thing I want to say, hello Reagan, my dog just grunted at me. The last thing I want to say is, I'm really sorry it's taken so long. There was a lot of people who told me that, like, hey man, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think getting this movie done and this time frame is going to happen. I don't think getting this movie done with this amount of money is going to happen. And those people were totally right. Those people were so right. And there was a lot of warning signs that, like, hey Vern, like, don't do this. Hey Vern, quit while you're ahead. Give up. And I totally ignored those signs. Just because, like, what I thought Pet Turtles was going to do for me was so important to me. And I learned the hard way, and that's come at your expense. And it's something I'm truly, truly very sorry for. I'm sorry it's taken so long. I couldn't have foreseen that night in my old car in Goldmember 3, as I called that car. I couldn't have foreseen that night when I was like typing out a rough draft of a movie into the notes app on my phone, that this journey was going to take me on to this like complete like emotional devastation and a complete rebuild from the ground up. I could have never seen that coming. I was too dogged, too determined, too stubborn, too stupid to ever see that coming. And I've seen it. I get it now. But it's just something I didn't know was going to happen, and so I'm sorry that it's taken so long. But I'm here to tell you that the movie where it stands right now is, I'm so proud of it, and it's so much better than I ever envisioned it being, way back when. And it's got this whole other like thing that I never would have anticipated happening to it. And it's stuff that it could only have come about from spending so much time in the trenches, It's got this gorgeous score by one of my favorite bands in the entire universe. And that would have never happened, way back when, if things had gotten finished the way I anticipated them to originally. The animation and the cool like look to it, that it's gotten in post-production, like that's not something I could have foreseen happening way back when. It's something I didn't have the skills to do. And so I'm very sorry how long it's taken, but if it means anything to you, it's all the time and all the labor and all the effort that's went into it has been to the benefit of both the movie, but also one of the people who's responsible for making it happen. And we've just about finished the story, and we're in a place where I can finally like hunker down and do all the physical work that needs to happen to get it done. And I'm really excited for that time, and I hope you are too. And I'm sorry it's taken so long, And I'm also sorry, just like, for how much of a dickhead I've been along the way and trying to get this thing done. I didn't know. I know now, but I didn't know then. And I'm really excited for 2024. One last little bit of being TMI. One last little bit of it. As I said at the very beginning of this video, the the loss that started this whole journey, the tragic loss that started this was back in 2012, and this person that we lost was someone who was super important to me. I didn't always act like they were important to me. I didn't always act like I cared about this person. But that was because, I was really hurt and really sad and really mad and all these, not fun emotions. But this person was very important to me, and I kind of, if you've ever seen Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, one of my favorite comedies ever, there's this thing that happens where, there's two brothers, Dewey Cox and his brother dies at a very young age, and he keeps seeing like this ghost of his brother saying, like, you've got to be double great for both of us. And I have, because this person meant so much to me, and because how important art was to them, I've really taken it upon myself to like try to be double great for both of us. And I know that's like totally stupid and not fair to me, not fair to them, but it's still something that was important to me, to try to be double great. And that happened in 2012, and it's now 2024, and 2024 is double 12. And so what better time to try to be double great than a year that is double? I am going to keep working on it. We're so close. I'm going to hop off this. I'm going to do some light color correction on this. This car alarm is going to keep honking. I'm going to do some light color correction on this, and I'm going to upload it. I'm going to take my dog, OUT. I can't say the actual word. I have to spell it out, or else she'll get excited and start jumping in my face. And my dog can't spell, but she knows the word. I'm going to take her OUT and feed her. And then I'm going to hop back on that computer. And while this is uploading in one window, I'm going to be working on pet turtles in the other window. And I mean it. Because we're finally in a place where we can only worry about the present. This has been 53 minutes. Going to be a little less after I cut out my wife's Tamagotchi stuff. And until next time, thank you all so much for your continued support of both me and this movie. It means a whole lot to me. You mean a whole lot to me. This movie means a whole lot to me. And we're almost there. And it's going to be really good when you see it, and I'll keep you updated on it like I have been. Until then, until next time, until next month, Happy New Year. Take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and try to do your best. That's all you can do. But you have to try. Yep, anyway. Au revoir.